Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation. We're going to be bringing you guys a game between Kaipi Gaming and Evil Geniuses here. This is going to be a best of one to determine who's third and who's fourth in the final rankings here. So both of them going to get some points, minimum of 18, but somebody's going to be taking home 30 to move in closer and closer towards that playoff goal. Obviously, the top four teams are going to be the ones going to the playoffs, and so those point values more and more important than ever as we get into this stage of the tournament. So now we're looking at Kaipi starting off. They have second pick. Evil Geniuses taking up the first one on the Radiant here. Going to be an interesting match between these two teams, and thank you guys so much for tuning on in. I myself am Blaze, joined by Triumphant Man. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm going to say Kaipi, they need this third place a lot more than EG. EG currently sitting on 130 points, tied for first place with Mouse currently. Kaipi have yet to score, so they need this badly, or they are unlikely to make it to the playoffs. That said, Evil Genius is opening up with a Darkseer and a Lone Druid ban. Interesting decision. Now, the question is, Kaipi, are they going to go for some early, like, sort of mid-game aggressive kind of stuff with the Lifestealer, or are they going to go for a bit of a later game? Now, we've got to keep in mind, though, EG do have the first pick, and we've been seeing a lot of Lifestealer first picks, so if they don't ban it out, it's probably going to get picked up. That said, though, EG kind of like their Batrider too, so we might just see them snap that up first as well.
Yeah, a lot of potential in the pool that remains, and we've seen kind of interesting drafts from both sides as far as who wants to pick up what early on. And so we've seen something like the pickup of the carries first with like healers like Lifestealer and such. We've seen solo mid pickups, offlane pickups, a lot of different drafting styles that have kind of come on through since 6.78, and it's kind of the back and forth mind game aspect. Right now, Evil Genius is banning out those offlane heroes, have something else intended for themselves, and it certainly isn't either of those two heroes. So they probably need to pick it up within the next within these first two, so either the first pick or the last pick of the first phase, and then they have to figure out exactly what Bambo's doing. Most likely it's going to be a Furion, just the Nature's Prophet doing so much for him, but this Batrider is also promising in just about any role. He can go in the jungle, he can go in the mid, he can go in the offlane, and just do so much there. So they had a rough game against Alliance just recently, but hopefully they can bounce back, get some coordination for some team fights, and that's mostly what they're looking for here. Meanwhile, Kaipi, they banned out the Wisp, the Warlock, some interesting bans, very diverse heroes, but they open up the pool for plenty of different options. Most of the time, though, Kaipi prefers to build up their tri-lane, so picking up Eternal Envy's Lifestealer, now probably looking for a support for either Pilot Eye or that of Come With Me.
Yeah, I mean, if they go pick the Lone Druid, it might not even be Envy running the Lifestealer. Could be handing that over to somebody else, because last time, of course, Envy was... I'm fairly sure it was Envy running the Lone Druid last time round, so they might put him on the bear again. But it really depends where they're going with this. I mean, if they're going for some early push power, they could pick up the bear. That said,
10 seconds.
I don't know, they might just want to grab up some of their supports early on as well. The mid, it will be the Clockwork early on, so they're going to get that lockdown there. And of course, Clockwork very, very strong in those team fights and causes a lot of confusion and disruption in the middle of that. And of course, this combo's nice with the Lifesteal as well. Just make sure they get some early mobility. So if they don't end up picking up something like the Queen of Pain or the Stone Spirit for Lifesteal to travel around, and they've always got the Clockwork for the hooks and the traveling with that, so you can get that mobility there. Bane, though, going to be picked up by Evil Geniuses. Probably going to see someone like Vita's running that. And the question, I think it's the question of who is he going to be supporting. Also means if Kaipi try and use the bear again, Bane is obviously a pretty good counter to that. That said, maybe not, I suppose. Oh yeah, nope. So I'm retarded. Why am I saying that? I guess it is 4:30 a.m. in the morning for me. But yeah, Spirit Bear is banned. But I was going to say, yeah, Bane. It really depends where he went, whether or not he was going to use that against him. But all around, of course, Enfeeble also really good against the Lifesteal as well, just to try and cut down the damage he's doing, and Fiend's Grip obviously going right through that rage once again. But Kaipi, I mean, this is interesting watching them go for so many aggressive lineups, because normally Kaipi, they're all about getting that late game with the right-click damage from stuff like Void, Anti-Mage, or Phantom Lancer. And they have not gone for that all night. They're just going on this early aggression stuff. And Sand King being banned out as well by Kaipi. What is this?
Yeah, really interesting.
Are they planning for a Broodmother?
I mean,
that is a big reason to ban. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that they're afraid of EG's combo of Bane and Sand King. We have seen it before. B-Diz on the Bane and Fear picking up the Sand King. And it does have a lot of potential if they can get some farm in their tri-lane. So it is a bit scary, but you have a Lifestealer to deal with that. If you rage before the Burrow Strike, you're generally not going to have problems when it comes down to mid-game up against Sand King. But still, it's something that they're worried about as far as incidental damage. They don't want the Clockwork to have to rush Mech Pipe, and so they're just going to take it off the board. But one thing about Kaipi's draft thus far is it's very, very clear where they're going to be going. Clockwork always, every single time Kaipi picks up Clockwork, it goes on Bone 7 on the off lane. They have not run it a single different way that I've seen, and I've cast a decent number of Kaipi games. So, obviously they're not, Pilodai and Come With Me aren't going to be running that. As far as I understand it, it's going to be Bone 7, and that guarantees Lifestealer is going to be played by Eternal Envy in a safe lane. So now that Evil Geniuses know that, they can kind of tank that information to the bank, try to figure out how they want to draft against it. If they want to try to break the tri lane in a heavy try versus try, or they just want to fall back on the Bane to get good Fiend's Grip off on the Lifestealer, as long as you make sure that he's covered from Clockwork's hooks. So that's going to be the big thing to look for. But yeah, in the meantime, Evil Geniuses already are very secure against the Lifestealer. They have the Flaming Lasso, they have the Fiend's Grip. Now they have to get some punch to follow it up. Once you disable somebody, you need that right-click damage, and we'll have to see exactly what EG picks up for that. But in turn, Shadow Demon going to come on through for Kaipi, and it's something we actually haven't seen all day long. He did get a little bit of a nerf. His Shadow Poison will not show anymore. The debuff does not show vision on the opposition, and he does have, I believe, 3 less intellect, so less as far as his disruption, soul catcher combos. But in general, he's still a very, very formidable hero that can do a lot if they can maybe go disruption into cogs or something like that. I did mention before that Bone 7 will probably be the Clockwork, but I do love a Shadow Demon Clockwork combo in a tri lane. It's really, really strong with the right synergy between players.
Yeah, if you obviously disrupt and then just get the cogs around him. Just thinking about who will play it, probably will end up on Pilodai. Generally speaking, Come With Me takes the 4th spot. Envy, back when he was with no Titan, actually did play a fair bit of Shadow Demon, was pretty mean with that, but that said, in Kaipi, he tends to play the carry role more often, so we'll probably, I'm guessing we'll see Pilodai play the Shadow Demon at the moment. And we've also got Evil Geniuses banning out that Visage. I think it's definitely a smart choice, of course. We've seen Come With Me pretty much carry games in the back of his Visage. In fact, actually, come and think of it, actually, the last time Kaipi and Evil Geniuses clashed, it was, in fact, Envy trying to play the Void, which didn't go so well. It took him a while to get rolling, and it was, in fact, Come With Me holding the line with his Visage. So obviously, Evil Geniuses remember it, not only because Visage is really strong right now, but the amount of damage Come With Me was doing, I think, definitely a smart choice. And they really were going to go for this again. Okay, Naga Siren, take round 2. Round 2 for the setup there. The question is, what sort of AoEs are they going to get to go with it? I assume they're going to try and set up the whole team fight aspect with it once again. But honestly, Nagasaki didn't really perform last match, but again, it was Alliance, so we'll see if they can make it work better in round 2.
Yeah. So essentially, what they did wrong in the last game was they didn't go for any offensive songs at all. They were always playing on the defensive, tried to get one hero out as an escape with that ultimate. And that ultimate early on is a gigantic cooldown, 180 seconds compared to when she gets only a minute cooldown at level 16. It means that when you use a song, it has to make a big deal. It has to make a big impact. And yes, you might be able to use it once, even twice possibly, as a single hero escape just to keep your carry alive and farming. But if you just continuously use that over and over in that way, and then you don't get any follow-up, you don't get to set up a team fight for yourselves, then it just really doesn't make its impact. Now, we are going to be seeing the same tri-lane that we were looking at before, Bane, Naga Siren, and possibly Undying. But they also realize that they're up against a very... I guess you could say greedily built lineup. They're up against a Phantom Lancer, they're up against a Lifestealer. So they know the Clockwork is now supportive and not a Bone 7 Clockwork. And then, well, I guess it could be Artesia Clock. But anyways, what they realize is that Phantom Lancer and Lifestealer is going to be up against a dual core, and a Naga Siren won't be able to handle that late game at all. So they have to go for really, really hardcore push, or go for another core hero. And that's a difficult decision to make, considering you already have the Batright and the Naga on the field right now.
Yeah, and you can see it really weighing on them. Each just going, well, crap. They are really burning through their overtime here. We'll see what they can come up with that. I swear to God, I really want to see Earthshaker. Oh. I really, really want to see Earthshaker, but yeah. Probably never will.
The problem is they have to pick up Keeper of the Light. If they don't pick up Keeper of the Light, they only have 18 seconds left, but if they don't pick up Keeper of the Light, Kaipi guarantees picks it up as their last. It works great with Shadow Demon, works great with Phantom Lancer, and it hasn't been touched this entire draft, but... They go for the core. They go for the Morphling. So they are, like I said, splitting their cores. They're trying to take this late game. Difficult, but possible when they do have those kind of lockdowns, the ultimates from Batrider and Bane. But yes, Kaipi... Oh, wait, no, there's another ban phase. Sorry. Still adjusting the 6.78 changes. They can ban out Keeper of the Light here. That's not going to be a problem. But picking up the Morphling for themselves. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I mean, really, really interesting choice on the Morphling. I figure they'd pick something that can look after itself a bit more. Unless, I mean, oh, well, okay, let's think about this. Considering we're probably going to see Clockwork, I really think we're going to see RTZ mid on the Clockwork. It is possible that they put Nagasaren in the mid, have Bane and another support take go with the Morphling, and then Batrider take the offline. So actually, no, that's definitely doable.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Kaipi, if they're running the super greedy line, I mean, they could even. I mean, Kaipi, if they really wanted to, they could try and just basically jungle the Lifestealer, or even just try and leave the Phantom Lancer on his own. Because, I mean, you throw in the mid lane, we still see the bottle crowing, it's still happening. I think it's definitely possible that he looks after himself in the mid lane if he really, really wanted to. Unless, that's it, the Batrider could be a bit of an issue, that might be the only problem. But, I mean, he's got double walk, so he can always get out of trouble if necessary.
Yeah. I think it's an RTZ Clockwork in the mid lane. I definitely think that's pretty secure in this situation. Of course, I was saying, oh, it has to be 1-7, but no, it definitely could be, or should be RTZ here. 1v1 versus Naga Siren. One thing I like about Naga Siren there is her mirror images make Battery Assault less effective, so even if she does get cogged, just as soon as she gets that cooldown off, it's hard to get it off because of the cast animation, but it's still possible during those intervals. And then once you do actually get the illusions up, you don't take hardly any damage from BA. So that's good. But beyond that, yeah, I agree. Naga Siren should probably run in the mid, and then that comes down to how they're going to support the Morphling. The Morphling pick here, not only because it's a very powerful carry, who can go like Scotty to slow down the Lifestealer, but the most important thing is the replicant of Phantom Lancer. You replicate Phantom Lancer, you get his illusions, and you can still get those procs with the Phantom Edge. So you can create your own little Catman army. And from there, you have a chance to take this to the late game, and that's really what it's about. So Morphling's going to go for farm hardcore, but it's really going to be his ultimate that's going to be doing just as much carrying as the rest of the hero itself.
We'll see what Kaipi decided to finish things out with. They actually did ban the Keeper of Light themselves.
Yeah, interesting.
Decided they didn't want to have to deal with that. I mean, at the same time, I mean, you can always use Keeper of Light to... I mean, at the same time, even if you're not going to pick Keeper of Light, this makes me wonder, though, if they weren't planning to pick up Keeper of Light. He's always a pain in the butt to play against, so he's always a solid ban. But that makes me wonder if they're not planning to run him, have they... It might actually not be Clockwork in the mid.
Yeah.
This could be...
No, it is.
Oh, no, it is. No, there we go. Never mind. Jakiro being picked up.
So why do you think they prefer Keeper of Light over Jakiro? Or Jakiro over Keeper of Light, rather?
To me, says they want to get aggressive early on. Like, they want to fight. I mean, Keeper of Light's good, but at the same time, you trying to go in against stuff like the Nuggets, you need the lockdowns. Like right now, without that, they've got Clockwork, Stun, and that's about it. Clockwork and Cogs, and that's about it for disables. Obviously Shattered In, but Disruption's not exactly like the hardest of stuns. It can take someone out of the fight for a bit, but it won't lock them down. Jakiro has that big lockdown, and Clockwork, you lock someone down that you don't like Naga Siren, in the middle of a Cogs, and you throw a Macro Pyre at her. Doesn't matter if she sings after that, she's in a lot of trouble after that. So, I mean, that could be their plan there.
Yeah. The one thing I do like about the Jakiro comparatively is this hard stun. Getting the Ice Path on a channeled effect like the Fiend's Grip or the Black Hole sets them up to actually make teamfights work for them. Because as you said, all they have is Disruption and what Clockwork brings if you can get in close. So it can be difficult. And in that position, yeah, I think the Jakiro definitely has a lot more to bring to the table by interrupting channels. The problem is it doesn't make the tri-lane. I think in the tri-lane situation, Keeper Light would be stronger. I think in the... when it comes down to the physical damage, that Blinding Light would be more powerful. But either way, Jakiro is going to be able to be very effective. Disruption into Ice Path, into Open Wounds, pretty standard there. But as far as how the lanes are going to break down, it's pretty interesting. Jo is going in the mid lane with the Naga Siren up against the Phantom Lancer in the mid. And Arteezy is going to be the one going up top versus Bat. So they pretty much what they're doing here is dodging Batrider versus Phantom Lancer, knowing he can't win that, and just saying, okay, Clockwork, he won't win it either, but at least he won't get destroyed. Whereas Phantom Lancer will have an okay time to find some farm on the mid lane.
And Batrider opening up with Boots, Clarity, and a Tango. Interesting choice there to start with. So he's going to go. I mean, this is going to give him a lot of harassment value with the a lot of harassment value there with the Napalm. But at the same time, RTZ gets in there with a couple of... It depends what RTZ's skills actually. He might actually go for Rocket Flare instead and just spam the crap out of him with that. But I still get the feeling he might just go for the Battery Assault and go and gank bottom lane. Actually, no, maybe not actually, because Cogs and Battery Assault's not going to be that effective against Morphling. He might just go for the long-range nuke when Morphling tries to waveform away on low health, just spam him with rockets. And we see some blocking wards go down straight away. Come with me, going to throw that down, make life difficult for Enigma, making sure he's got nothing to convert. And I don't think they'll actually block the second one. They're actually going to try and encourage... No, they will. They will block that. I was going to say they might encourage him to come over here to a gankable position so they can pick him off. Yes. But this is going to be rough. Like, Bane, I think, is going to struggle to stay in here at the same time. And they're going to basically make things... Oh, that's the Morphling's probably going to farm just fine, but it's going to be difficult for Bane to get near and leech experience. And they can always go and disrupt the farm there. In fact, Enigma's gone screwed. He knows exactly what's up. He's gone to the enemy jungle. I think it's a very smart rotation from him.
Yeah, it's actually not too shabby for him. He's still going to find as much farming to literally cost him 45 seconds. It really didn't cost him anything at all, and that's 200 gold down the drain for Kaipi supports. But the one thing they really did get out of it is making sure that Enigma's nowhere near the lane. Malefice level 1 isn't as bad as it used to be. They fixed it up a little bit so you can actually gank with it more extensively. And then Malefice level 2, of course, is as strong as ever. So in that position, Enigma it can be threatening down bottom, and they just don't want it. They want to go 3 versus 2. 3 versus 2. They don't want to go 3 versus 2.5. So they use the Sentry Wards to force him to dire jungle. Enigma will be fine, but you generally can't say the same thing about Morphling. He will be pressured by this tri-lane, which actually has the supports coming out of the mid lane. Highlight Eye, come with me, going in for the disruption onto Jo, but taking some tower hits and having to fall back. So Jo, great positioning on the mid. Won't be falling for that one. Meanwhile, dive up on top lane. Oh, big damage coming out. The battery assault, the tower right click, and it will be a first blood. Arteezy spilling it on Bambo and cleaning up some creeps pretty effectively. He actually doesn't have any HP regen, so it kind of has to watch himself, but he's going to be able to fall back with his bottle and probably a salve to make sure that he can stay on the lane here. Or,
I think he's actually...
Yeah, just walk back.
Yeah, he's... I right down here, like, this alone time for Lifesteal isn't terrible. He's mostly just looking for levels here. They don't need to get a super amount of farm on him early on because they're going to be... I think they're mostly just going to transition to ganking with him with Clockwork a little bit later because he's not their primary carry. They've got Envy in the mid lane who's going to be farming away. It's going to be down to him just to get levels and then to cause a big ruckus in the mid game and buy time for Envy to get the late game, get his Diffusal Blade, his heart possibly, depending on what he's going for there, and just get farmed up and get ready to just completely trash Naga. And I'm pretty sure he's going to out-carry the crap out of Naga. Maybe not Morphling. Depends how it goes with Morphling. I'm honestly not sure. Then again, of course, Morphling is not as good as he used to be in terms of carry potential. And as for Fear being forced out of the bottom jungle, I think this is most, not just for the Malthus, but just getting jumped by 6 Eidolons from behind when you're like a level 1 support is just pretty much a death sentence, especially if Morphling's going to wave in there and stack a bunch of damage on you straight away.
Back and forth on top lane, Arteezy and Bambo duking it out, but it's really going to be the Clockwork that takes the forward end of the trade. They get some magic wand charges from the 4 napalm stacks, but takes a lot of harassment from that Firefly as well. We actually do see there is going to be a kill on the Shadow Demon early on, and Come With Me should drop here too. He doesn't have the Ice Path, so just too much damage coming on out. That second point in Brain Sap just doing so much damage. So they burst down Shadow Demon very, very hard, and yeah, go in 2 versus 3 and pick off 2 heroes. What kind of positioning error was that they were able to accomplish such a
thing? It wasn't really 2 versus 3. What happened there? Bone 7 didn't participate at all. Okay. He just sat there farming. Yeah. It was a 2v1 initially. They went in on Morphling. Obviously, Beaters was skulking about, trying to go on the Morphling. Morphling just came right out of it and just said, you know what, I'm going to fight you. Manned up and went for it. I mean, on top lane, looks at RTZ almost dying, but he should be fine. Still has a full one. Oh, yeah, he's healing up massively.
Oh, nicely. Bambo should die here. The creep will not follow through, and yeah, Bambo going to get right-clicked on down. Rocket Flare to finish the job. Really nicely done. Fear just needed to get in range for Malefice, but unfortunately, no such luck. So, as we were saying about, I did miss the kill on bottom, so bringing it down. They went on Morphling. He got, of course, a lot of damage through Waveform, and B-Diz turned it around with a quick Brain Sap. That's pretty much what we're getting there.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah, Beaters just came in there, just added a bit of extra damage, and suddenly realized, you know what, these guys aren't too tanky. If Lifestealer had been there, would have been a different story entirely. But he didn't bother participating. Just sat up the top. Well, no, he wasn't even that far away. Just didn't even bother coming down there.
And the unfortunate thing there is Bane's movement speed advantage 315 compared to that of only 290 and 295 for Jakiro and for Shadow Demon respectively, so a lot of potential for Bane to just really completely screw somebody over, and yeah, so he got a big nuke. They really didn't have grounds to fight it on, and just tried to zone a little bit too overzealously, so that puts it in a position where Morphling has a lot more control over the lane than Kaipi's comfortable with. PowerNet right now has 17 CS. He, of course, got 1 kill, 1 assist on out of that, so as a whole, right now, this bottom lane is not going the way they intended it.
Definitely not. Should also mention Envy is farming. Envy's farming fairly well, though, on the mid lane. And you see he was actually forcing Jo out right now. They're roughly equal on CS at the moment. Well, that said, Envy has a lot more denies there, so he's farming well, though. But this is the thing, though. Jo is going to be looking to set up those fights sort of in the mid game, whereas Envy's still going to be farming. So it's going to be EG, right? They're not doing as well as they want to do, although it looks like they are going to pick off Bambo yet again. Bambo Dodo. What is he doing up there?
Yeah, unfortunately, he was farming creeps, but Arteezy's hook shots was just perfectly on point. They had the vision they needed because it's still daytime, and finding yet another kill, 3 kills in the first day. It's just really, really strong coming out, specifically from Arteezy, and I don't think that's going to let up anytime soon. I mean, he has his bottle bracer, going to go for treads, most likely, the kind of Bulba build that provides a huge amount of efficient tankability, and then he can go in as deep as he wants.
See, I'm a little bit worried. Like, Morphling's getting a decent amount of farm. The issue is I don't think Morphling's going to be able to stand up to the Phantom Lancer late game, just because Phantom Lancer Illusion Army plus a Diffusal Blade. Morphling needs that mana to manage his stats, so you can, like, obviously morph up a ton of strength in the middle of a fight if he needs to tank up and just suddenly waveform his way to victory. If he's getting spammed by illusions, mana burning him constantly, he's going to find it very difficult. He's actually fairly mana reliant in the fight, so that does bother me a little bit.
Yeah.
And obviously, Nagasaran just doesn't. She's just not on the same level as Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, there's two options to go with against a Phantom Lancer for a Morphling. You can build up either a Ghost Scepter into Ethereal Blade and just turn yourself ethereal so that you cannot be right-clicked as such, or you can go for a BKB. Diffusal's feedback will not go through BKB, so you can at least have it for that duration. A huge amount of mana that you still have at your disposal. We do see a kill down on bottom. Waveform actually coming on in. Arteezy might be able to turn this around on Power Net. He waveformed in, trying to strength morph up, but it's not going to be enough, is it? One more right click will finish the job. That battery cell taken away very actively on top of him. So as durable as Power Net thought it would be, goes in very aggressively for that waveform, but perfect timing from Arteezy. Throws it right back in his face. So yeah, they did get the pick off on the Jakiro, but not worth it at all when you consider how far behind it put Morph.
Oh yeah, definitely. Should mention though, speaking of far behind, poor old Shadow Demon currently sitting on a magic wand, and that's it. Definitely not looking the happiest. That's it. I mean, he's only died once. He's got 2 assists, so he must have been spent. He's probably spent everything up on wards. Oh, there we go. No, his boots are on the way.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So in a pretty good position.
That's very poor.
I mean, okay position. It's not where you want to be, but it's manageable at this stage. Comparing that to Bambo, where you would expect him to have farm, and he has just about the same as the Shadow Demon, is rather unfortunate.
Bambo, they're just going to Firefly up there. And it looks like Jarrow's gone for the Arcane Boots there, just so he can spam the Riptide non-stop. And of course, Riptide had a pretty big buff. I think it got dropped to a flat 10-second cooldown across all levels, so he's been spamming that pretty hard. Meanwhile, we got here Phase Boots down in here on the Lifestealer. Lifestealer's just going for fairly early on. Phase Boots, all of Venom. He's just going for those annoying early game items just to make the most out of them, just to harass the crap out of Morphling. Morphling, they're almost picking up his level 6 now. We'll have that replicate to become even harder to gank. RTZ, meanwhile, transferring to the mid lane Blaze.
Yep, so he's being very active across the map. Starting off on the top lane, now going mid. That allows Eternal Envy to make the rotation up top and pick up CS where he left off. He's doing pretty good. He's pretty much topping out when you consider Enigma is all jungle creeps. He's definitely going to be the highest as far as GPM from CS. But he does need to stay on top of Morphling and farm, because Morphling has been able to pick up a couple kills and assist, and Eternal Envy hasn't really seen any of that. So on that note, he's definitely going to try to stay active, farming away, and with this dire ward placement that they just put up here for EE to just keep on farming, he's actually going to be in a really good spot. So Eternal Envy, it'll take a few minutes, he's kind of incubating right now, but he will come up and hatch into a very aggressive mid-game carry, possibly going for drums, or I don't know, maybe even rushing out that straight Diffusal. Generally speaking, the two options I prefer are either drums or Yasha. You get a lot of mobility, and therefore you can farm faster or tank up a bit more in team fights. Either way, he's going to be able to make more of an impact as he picks up his farm.
I think he's just going to probably go for straight Diffusal. I mean, drums are likely to get picked up on Lifestealer, so he doesn't need to worry about them too much. I'm expecting him to pick up. I mean, he could, I suppose, go for the early Yasha, but I think in this case, Diffusal Blade is going to be more useful. Can purge, and as well as the fact that just the straight of the mana burn is really, really powerful against the Morphling. He does want to cut that down quite a bit. But it looks like a gank on the bottom lane.
Yeah, they're going to be able to bring down Bone 7 here. He has the Infest. He can jump inside an Eidolon. No, not enough time. It's just such a long duration, and with Power Net cleaning it up with a rank 3 waveform, yeah, easily able to finish that off. And now with the Buckler active, they're going to go in for the push on the tier 1 bottom. And Jakiro just doesn't have the counter push. He's only level 3. So if he stays, he's going to get Malefist or Nightmared. Oh, actually, Bambo going to be able to flame break him back. Oh, just lasso straight up. Has a movement speed advantage and will kill off Come With Me. I was talking about that movement speed. Base 290, and he doesn't have boots of speed. So that's an easy kill. Adding in a second one on top of their first, and now the tower as well. Actually, I don't feel there was any reason to fortify other than 2 towers are being hit at once. In general, you're still not going to be able to defend the bottom one. It remains to be seen about the mid. But yeah, I guess you did alleviate some damage on the mid lane, and as a whole, that's the most damage you're going to be able to nullify at once during this time frame. But still, it doesn't change anything.
At the very least, it's going to slow him down a little bit, but we got Bone 7's transferred to the mid game. Looks like he's just going straight for Armlet at the moment, so he's not doing... In fact, he's not actually going to do...
I actually didn't catch up there. TV jumping on top of that Morphling yet again. And I guess he just didn't have the escape tools that needed to get on out of there. I thought he had enough for both waveform and some decent strength morph, but Arteezy proving otherwise with some really good movement of his hookshot. I actually didn't catch how he finished him off, but really nicely done.
Yeah, I think he's probably out of mana there for the waveform. He's been involved in a couple of skirmishes there. Looks like Bambo. Bambo, though, getting... I mean, for the amount of... For his crappy start, he's actually getting fairly close to the Blink Dagger. He's only about 200, 300 gold away from that. He'll have it fairly soon. Meanwhile, Envy, he did, in fact, go for the drums, so I was wrong on that. He's decided to go for the drums first anyway. We'll give him some nice stats at the very least. +9 is fairly cost-efficient for him for the amount of gold it costs. And now the mech, done for Enigma. That's a pretty quick mech as well, 11 minutes in, that's not too bad at all. Of course, Enigma does farm at a pretty ferocious rate in the jungle. It's very hard to slow him down if you're not actively in there trying to push him back at all times. He does catch up very quickly. Now, Jo, did they spot him heading bottom is the question. He could try and set up a fight here with the song and then have just Enigma move in for the black hole afterwards.
Yeah, it could be an easy pick-off if they do go for that combo. Actually, Riptide there, so big misclick, unless he's trying to farm with... I guess, yeah, he's up top.
Yeah,
he's trying to
he's farming top.
But still, picking out that invis, that opportunity you're kind of talking about. He could go for the ensnare still, but they do have the supports to back it up, so Kaipi's ready for it. But in general, I really think that Kaipi has been like fundamentally in the right mindset as far as turtling goes. I mean, their participation hasn't been as active as it could be, but right now they're just trying to survive and use Arteezy as a counter gank mechanism, and that's going to be exactly what they need to do if they're going to come out on top. The problem is the supports are really, really falling behind. Especially Come With Me right now. He's got his boots. But that really doesn't mean much when you're up against Enigma with a Soul Ring. By the way, Enigma got that mech so fast because he didn't actually go for tier 1 boots himself. But as long as he can waddle on in there, possibly get a decent black hole off, it's not going to be the biggest impact. Right now he's just farming away and trying to keep people alive.
Yeah, I think it's a perfectly good choice. Meanwhile, Smoke Gank on the bottom line, they're looking to pick off the Morphling again. I mean, they managed to each time there. Do we have a hook shot, though? Oh, top lane, bit of a fight up there. It looks like they got the lasso down. It looks like EE is actually getting picked off, interestingly enough. We'll get picked off by, wasn't lasso rather, it was Fiend's Grip, locking him down inside the Firefly. Nothing could do to get away there. And of course, we should mention Batrider has a blink as well.
Yeah, and that was just really unfortunate for Kaipi. There's no way that PowerNet knew that they were smoking other than the fact they were missing. And instead, he just happened to TP to help and grab that KS. He got the kill on the Phantom Lancer, but the hook shot came out a second too late. They couldn't get the vectors behind the creeps, and maybe even out of vision. I don't think so, but either way, PowerNet was able to avoid a 3-man gank that would have surely resulted in his death by just happening to want to pick up a kill on Eternal Envy. So, made that transition, got a kill, and avoided a death. Very, very important.
Oh, Song comes out, going to trap RTZ as well as Come With Me. They're in a bit of a bind here. Now the question, do they have the follow-up? They have a black hole here, but decide not to use it just yet. Throws in the mouth, it's going to save, decides he doesn't need it all. Ice Path comes down from Come With Me. RTZ probably getting burst down here in a second. It looks like he will get knocked back, throws down the cogs again, will get finished off though. And now the question is, can Come With Me get away? The stun's on cooldown, can they? Nope, there we go, Nightmare to cancel that. And he will get killed in just a second. Also, Jarrow swinging back around as well. They're going to try and give Jarrow the kill. Yes, there we go, Riptide to finish him off. So 2 kills there. No, did get a double kill actually. Somebody else got the first one there. Regardless, looks like they will push forwards and threaten the tier 2. And that will give EG an even bigger boost. They're now up to around about 6,000 gold lead. Experience-wise, also a similar story, about 3,500.
Yeah, I think the Kaipi will be on much better footing once they get the armlet finished on Lifestealer. They're also going to have 2 drums up, one for Clockwork, one for Phantom Master, so they can use those charges very liberally. But it still is in EG's hands as far as initiation. Bambo with that Blink Dagger on the Batrider and Magic Wand on top of that for a little bit of durability. They're still able to go in and just completely obliterate people if they can just find them out. So it really is on Kaipi's supports to continue warding as actively as they have been. Really good on the top runes there. Same thing with the bottom, but that's up for another 3 minutes or so. So in that position, they just need to keep up with that and stay active and avoid these ganks. Make it so that at the very least they have to pop a smoke off. Speaking of, we do see a Smoke Naga Siren as well as Vitas and Bambo looking for an opportunity on Eternal Envy. They need to actually pop off the Firefly to get vision to actually bring him down. We'll see in a moment.
And let's see the rocket coming yet again, just trying to do a bit of harassment, but I think they're going to lose their tier 1 tower here. Got the Enigma there, throws down the mech even to heal up the illusions and the Eidolons there. Glyph comes out from the dire side. I don't think it's good enough to hold it on though if nobody commits here. It doesn't look like anybody's committing, although that's the Phantom Lancer is coming from behind. They might be able to get a pick off after the tower goes down. Tower also going to cop some creep harassment as well. Or not, they might actually manage to hold the line here. Although Jarrow's moving in once again, doesn't have his ult. Just going to harass with the Riptide some more. And there we go, we got the Batrider blinking and causing some trouble there as it looks like getting the lasso down. Going to help pick off the Jakiro, dragging him uphill there. And now the open wounds down on Fear. Fear, the hook in though. Arteezy going to hit a friendly illusion there as it tries to chase off Fear. In the end though, Kaipi do lose 1 here. The deny though, so it's probably worth it in the end there, just to lose to Jakiro and in the end get a deny on the tier 1.
Certainly helps them out. Unfortunately, they couldn't turn around with that one as soon as the hookshot missed. And that's kind of one of the things about Clockwork is great here if you can land those snipes, but even if you miss, especially when it looks bad when you miss an easy hook, but in general, when you miss a hook, then suddenly you have absolutely no tools to get where you want to be, and you have a gigantic cooldown to eat through. So generally speaking, if you miss a very important hook, it can just completely nullify your participation in the team fight, which can be very, very unfortunate. And now we do see that Diffusal Blade Rush has met its end. Jo rushing it out with just Arcane Boots. Arcane Boots Diffusal Blade, no tank whatsoever beyond Magic Wand, but sure does a lot of damage when you consider these mirror images.
Oh yes, definitely. She's going to now be very, very... Especially if you can get the surround on Envy while he's stuck in the net, can probably just mess him up really quick and get rid of all of his mana, make it very hard for him to double walk his way to victory. We'll see. Now, right now, RTZ on the bottom lane, though, also with his drums, 190 gold. Has he got anything on the courier at the moment? No, looks like just the rest of Nake's parts for that armlet at the moment. Nake's going to pick that up. It's a bit of farming going on from coming with me there in the jungle as well. Looks like they're looking for a gank though on Envy again, Blaze. So Dust goes down but misses.
Yeah, unfortunately they got the Fiend's Grip range. Vita's just barely getting around the maximum there, so we're going to try to bring him down, following it up with the Flaming Last of the Brain Sap, the right clicks. No, the Magic Wand will keep him alive. 6 seconds to wait, unfortunately, for the Doppelwalk, so he should die. Just uses his gold really, really quickly to spend out all the unreliable. Moving in towards that Yasha next. He is going to be setting himself up for some good farm, but for right now, just happy that other than the 33-second death, that he really isn't going to be wasting too much as far as gold goes.
Yeah. So it looks like Pilot Eye being forced up there. Has got a smoke, not planning to gank with it just yet though. Hasn't really got any good positions to gank for. They haven't really figured out where EG are busy hiding their heroes to farm with them. They do have an offensive jungle ward down. They'll probably wait until this ward spots them out and they might take a crack at it. Meanwhile though, it's going to be a nice Clockwork sneaky in a deny there.
Yeah.
As Morphin decides to replicate out back to base.
Yeah, it seemed like almost a misplay from Power. Like, he just strength morphed a little bit, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe a misclick, but what ended up happening was that he was just shy. Like, literally, I didn't have the tower click, so I don't exactly know, but it was probably less than 10 HP left on the tower after two right clicks. And if he had just Agi-morphed instead of strength morphed or something, it probably would have been a free tower. But either way, they get to deny Kaipi. Really, really need it, because right now EG has such great gold momentum. Right now, they're almost at 10k, and yeah, if EG just gets more and more gold on top of that, it's going to be a really, really big deal. They move in forward, they got the blinks, so on and so forth. We're actually going to see another BKB rush coming out of Fear, so that Enigma is going to be able to go on top of just about everybody and drop down that black hole, and the only thing that can possibly stop him other than a bash is going to be that hook shot coming in from Clockwork, which is not the easiest thing to land. Actually, we do have some engagement up on the top river, but it looks like the drum charge might be enough to get them out of here. Beatus has all spells available, though, and the Brain Sap is going to be a quick and easy kill. And it looks like, Artesia is actually coming in for a really, really nice snipe. Only a rank 1 hookshot, but is able to use his own drums to try to get on out of here. Should have probably cogsed to block off this ramp, but either way, just going to keep on running away to try to go for a TP scroll. And I think he actually will get it, so no problem there. But Artesia just finding the snipe, picking off the Bat Rider. Long range, really, really nice kill, but trading it 1 for 1.
Yeah, got the kill that he wanted there. Just looking at Phantom Lines. So it looks like Phantom Lines is going for Yasha first. Has actually decided to pick up parts for that Yasha, so probably going... I mean, he might go for the full lane, although it looks like RTZ Instant Trouble is going to get picked up by the Fiend's Grip as the Riptide comes in as well. Net comes in, RTZ, although going to throw down the cogs to try and hold things off. Will get bursted down there by the nukes as well.
Yeah. He just overstayed his welcome there. He had like a dozen different opportunities to TP away if he felt threatened, but he just didn't have the nighttime vision at nighttime, and he misjudged the situation, so he got dropped down. And meanwhile, Morphlake should dive in, no Bambo with that lasso, but still Power not taking so much damage from the Macropyre, will be dropped down in the end. Eternal Envy just barely living with his Magic Wand charge, going to go on the run while Bambo takes the high road, goes up, and is going to be able to sneak on out of here, has that Blink Dagger back up and at him, and is just trying to avoid that pincer formation coming in. He does get it perfectly. Blinks in to the west where they just were at, and is able to just mosey on out of there, but maybe not. Bone 7 coming in with Haste Rune. Fortunately for Bambo, he lost sight of his target and wasn't able to finish him off.
Yeah, as you see the Nakes charging into the jungle. Looks like he's that ward. I'm pretty sure they had a ward there that spotted up the Fear, that which is... No, it must not have. He's just charging around looking for potential. The other issue is he doesn't know when most of the enemy heroes are either. They get the tier 2, though. EG will take the tier 2 top tower. And that is going to give them quite a lot of extra money. I'm just checking right now. Yeah, they're up to a 10,000 lead. And that is going to be difficult for Kaipi to come back from. The fact that they're falling that far behind at the moment. And of course, Naga Saren's actually getting room to farm now, so she's doing quite well.
Yeah, improving substantially. She needs to pick up a big item pretty soon. I'm not exactly sure what she should go for next. I mean, there's so many different options for an illusion-oriented hero that can kind of do a little bit of mix and match. We're going to see maybe a gank on from Shadow. He gets the ward up. He can get the Demonic Purge. He does start off with that, but there is JR right nearby to bail him out if he needs the song. Going to go instead just for a little bit of farming action with the Mirror Images. But yeah, he does have a lot of cash to work with, so I'm curious to see what major stat-oriented item he goes for next. We're seeing Morphling go for the Lincoln Sphere, so obviously I don't think they're going to double that up. Maybe something more like a Manta style.
I think it's definitely a possibility. I mean, obviously going... Yeah. Oh, no, it's the Lincolns. He just bought the recipe for us. There you go. He's worried about the Lincolns. I mean, yeah,
Morphling
really a whole lot of...
the whole time. I'm just not sure about for the Naga Siren.
Oh, sorry. Alright, okay. My mistake there, but yeah. Naga Siren, she looks... Is she rushing a Radiance next? And she's sitting on 3k gold there.
I don't know, I mean,
she'd be very glassy. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. The problem is, she's built no tank at all. She's literally just Diffusal and Arcanes, and although I love a Radiance at a good time, and 21.5 minutes isn't bad, the fact that she's already gone for this build-up that's already putting her on the grid, she should probably just kind of follow suit with that.
I mean, maybe she's hoping just to split push with it. Obviously, to send the illusions out, spam them, and just have them burn down lanes while you're busy hiding elsewhere. It looks like they're just going to spam the Shadow Poison, trying to hold them off. Not going to happen, though. Batrider also moving up Bambo, getting ready to counter gank if necessary. The port out there from Jao. Going to head to the top lane and make sure that that lane doesn't get pushed down just yet. We'll get the tier 2 mid as well.
So, Fear has that BKB, he has the mechanism, he has regular brown boots, even a decoy Enigma replicant to kind of move around for him. And, yeah, I really do think that if Fear is able to get in the position he wants to, he's going to be able to just get amazing disable off. Because Phantom Lancer and Lifestealer both have to be on the same target to really make their impact known. They're both going to rush in, and that's going to give an opportunity for an amazing Black Hole. And again, the only one to prevent it is Clockwork. And even at rank 2, you have to get a really good Vector. I'm thinking he needs a Force Staff, but right now it seems like he's more apt towards going towards that Blade Mail.
Yeah, I mean, the Blade Mail's going to be useful as well, so might as well go for that
Or
and get
mech.
some
Wait,
good
do they have
armor
a
in
mech
there.
at all? I might be calling that completely wrong. Yeah, well, the Come With Me does have a headdress, and he does have Buckler Recipe, so yeah, it's definitely going to be that. Bambo on bottom lane, going to get picked off here, just too far in over his head, and the other two are going to have to fall back and let the tier 1 drop.
It's not really the whole thing. I mean, Morphling could actually... Oh, shoot, in 20 seconds. If you go on for 20 seconds, you can get a replication into the back. All the reinforcements are on the way right now. Nice. It's going to get spotted up. Will we see a hook in there? No, decides not to. Naga Siren has got her ult up if she wants to gun for it. They might even try to... No, just going to riptide the creep wave there. And the Dire are going to back off to take it slow and take it safe. Make sure they don't overexpose unnecessarily. They've got no vision there, really, so they decide, you know, it's not safe, not going to go for it. There's Morphling also going to take his illusion off in an opposite direction as well to keep it safe.
Yeah. Now, one thing was Kaipi sending out some pings, I believe it was this Pilot Eye, was pinging out on Jo. They noticed the Sacred Relic. They know he's going for the Radiance, and know that they are going to have a hard time taking this late game. It's a well-timed Radiance. Not the best timing, but certainly relevant to keep farming away. And all Jo's going to have to do is just keep on spawning those images, send them to camps, and other than Mud Golems, you're going to be able to just completely obliterate anything in the jungle. And from there, your farm just gets pretty out of control. If, meanwhile, Morphling is split pushing with a Replicant active, that's going to be outclassing Kaipi's potential farm, not exponentially, but very, very substantially. We already see them at 10k and just short of that for the Morphling, compared to that of only 8k for the Phantom Lancer and Lifesteal, and that's only going to get worse with this Radiance pickup.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the farm too right now. I suppose the biggest issue is Jarrow obviously hasn't died quite as many times, and does have a slightly better CS, not by much though. See Phantom Lancer, yeah, I see some a bit there as Clockwork gets picked off in the mid there, and they might even gun for, I mean, they've got Clockwork down for 30 seconds, they might even gun for the tier 3 tower, probably won't take the racks, but could gun for the tier 3 tower. See the Shadow Poison coming there, just harass a little bit, and it looks like EG, they smelt blood, they want this tower. They're going to move in and try and pick it off as we get the buyback there from Clock. I don't know about this, they should be able to do a lot of damage though with the illusions, might just range push, or might just sort of harass at a distance with them.
Well, they have the Black Hole, and that means that they, with the BKB active, they have a guaranteed successful team fight if Kaipi engages in full. So they're going to have to go for a crazy pickoff on Fear or something else in order to actually make this work. So right now they're making the right move. Pilot Eye with continuous Shadow Poison harassment at rank 3. It's pretty effective, but the mechanism is kind of counteracting that to some extent. We do see finally Diffusal comes out for Phantom Lancer. He has Yasha, Diffusal, Drum. This is his timing where he could actually make a pretty big impact, but they're going to have to do it fast. Fear Mechanism coming up in 10 seconds, that guarantees them the racks. So they take the melee already, and they're looking at the range next. They'll probably fall back, actually, since despite it... Oh, actually, no, coming down. Bambo pulls out Pilot Eye. He's going to get locked down. He's out of mana anyways, but we're going to see that Song trying to set it up for another pick-off here. At least on Come With Me. Oh, Eternal Envy is the target of choice. Going in. No Malefice, but are they going to just Black Hole it? No, they're going to go Adaptive Strike and go for that Fiend's Grip. Here comes Arteezy, though, right on top of Enigma. Is he going to be able to BKB Mechanism in time to survive? Yes, and instead, stunning out Arteezy. They should be able to pick him off. Now, Morphling did get dropped down. Really good focus fire coming out Lifestealer with that Desolator. But just Spurting an Aegis is not going to force out the enemy from their base, and they're not done. Evil Genius is looking at this top tier 3 now that backdoor protection has fallen, and they can tank it up with Noxus Slayer and Illusions.
Yeah, the Illusions have been proved really good for this, and right now they can't really get... So right now, no, Kaipi can't really get in. Radiant's Burn is a huge pest for them at 26 minutes in the mid tower. The top tier 3 is down as well. Shadow Boy's coming out as well. They should be able to take this though. How long till the Illusions are back for Naga? Her Illusions are back up now. She wants to use them. We'll help pick them off. And right now, Kaipi, this is not a whole lot they could do. 2 heroes down. The moment don't really have any initiation. We're going to see the Purge, with the Soul Cash come down on top of Pounder. Pounder just going to back off, and now we've also got the Open Wounds there. Beatty's now into trouble. Can he get away there? Pretty much all his good spells are on cooldown right now. The Bat Rider going to throw down the lasso. No, she's just going to blink in there and do a whole lot at all. There we go, Bat Rider. We're going to see the Macro Pie get dropped down, and I suppose it did help get... Bat Rider did it? No, actually, no, he didn't even get an assist for that, so a bit of a EGG level black hole. They're also going to pick off probably Enigma there. Enigma goes down, a buyback there from the Bat Rider, but right now I think EG are mostly just in cruise mode. They got the racks what they came for, and now they're just backing out at their luxury.
Yeah, single black hole is all they needed. Actually seeing the GG come out already. Literally only one black hole was cast this game, and it was only on one target. So the Enigma black hole wasn't a factor, but as far as the actual team fights breaking out, but it was a huge impact in how Kaipi had to approach these fights. They pretty much, knowing that the black hole was up and available, they couldn't cluster, they couldn't maneuver the way they wanted to. Jakiro, despite his Ice Pass being long range, all of his other spells are pretty bad. His attacks range, his dual breath, very, very short range. Macropire, not that great either. So when you get in that position, it's easy for a Bat Rider to pick you off, or for you to feel threatened by that black hole. And as soon as Arteezy spent that last hook shot, it was pretty much EG's game to lose, EG's fight to lose, and they couldn't throw that hard. I mean, they were in such a great position, already sitting at 20,000 gold advantage and moving up towards 14,000 in experience, and they just had the team fight working for them as well. Their carries got far more farm, as we've seen. Naga Siren and Morphling very rapidly outclassing that of the Phantom Lancer and Lifestealer. I'm not sure if I would attribute that to lanes, where we had, of course, the safe trial, or safe dual lane at least, Morphling down on bottom that wasn't pressured hardly at all. But I don't know, it's just right then and there we saw great farm coming out of PowerNet, great farm coming out of JO, and there was not a single thing to punish them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just no way for them to really interrupt the... they didn't really manage to interrupt the farm all that much. EG got some early picks, managed to cause a lot of pressure. I mean, Envy still farmed pretty well, 368 gold per minute, and then, you know, getting forced back during late. I think he was pretty close to 400 gold per minute at one point. So, I mean, he did fairly well, did well in his lane, then transferred to top lane, farmed well up there as well. Got picked off once, but I mean, he got jumped by a TP gang he couldn't really see, so not a big deal. And I think again, just came down to EG were just better coordinated during the fights. I mean, and then they obviously knew to get those early items as well that they needed. Just rushed at the mech, that sort of business. So, yeah, it's mostly what it came down to, I feel. Just that they weren't really on par in terms of team fight. And, yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, you've got a Lifestealer and a Phantom Lancer. They're not going to be ready for a little while. You need to give them a lot of farm, whereas Morphin's got a nuke, Naga Siren's got a big nuke, a big team fight CC ult that can work. So they're just better off all around. Yeah. In that sort of sense. But late game, I mean, had that gone to late game, obviously it didn't. Phantom Lancer, I think, would have dunked on everything.
Sure. So yeah, a lot more utility coming out of the carries of Evil Geniuses. They didn't really need the farm to make at least some impact, whereas it's completely different for Phantom Lancer especially. And I don't feel like Kaipi was comfortable in any single engagement, except for where Arteezy got a solo pickoff, where he found and got a hook shot over and over on Bambo, or on any, like Morphling, he teamed up with Pilot to bring him down a couple times. Great initiations there, and it means that he was involved in 8 of the 10 kills. But without those hooks, without those engagements, any multi-hero fights were just complete washout. The EG took it away, and it's just because they had the lineup for it. They had the threat of the Enigma's black hole. They had the great initiation from Bambo. I got to props to him, despite having a really, really rough top lane, and especially how many times he died over. he got a blink at a great time. He still was not too inhibited by that and was able to initiate very, very effectively, to pull people out of base and other great things to just completely throw off Kaipi to the point that they just couldn't turtle it up. And in my opinion, I will also attribute some of that to the fact that they didn't have a Keeper Light. They had a Jakiro, and that comparatively speaking, the counter push just isn't there. So that's my 2 cents on that one. But in general, can't take it away from EG. They played it well. They coordinated amazingly, and they take it away. So they are going to be the 3rd place for the TPL Season 5 Aghanims Cup, and that will net them 30 points in total, which racks them up to a grand total of, I believe, 160. So they're doing really, really well on point values. At the end of the day, I don't think they're going to be 1st place because of the decider coming up. But if Fnatic wins it, I think they actually are. So either way, we'll be seeing it in just a little bit. The next match is going to be that grand final. It's going to be Alliance versus Fnatic, going in for 1st or 2nd place. So thank you guys so much for tuning on into the Premier League Season 5 Aghanims Cup. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this match between Evil Geniuses and Kaipi Gaming. Evil Geniuses taking away and slotting themselves 3rd place in this cup today. Do you have any thoughts before we go on to the next game, Triumph?
No, not really.
Cool.
I think it's pretty much summed up.
Sounds good. We're going to go on into the next one. It is, once again, Alliance going up against Fnatic.